What's up, guys? Mamatrix here. Welcome back to Transition Tuesdays. Today I'm going to be doing a makeup tutorial for one of my standard makeup looks. Basically all the makeup that I do for daily wear looks pretty much the same. It's just different colors. It's the same general style. So here we go. Today I'm going to be doing red, so that inner red is going to be done with that Profusion palette, Spectrum. And the outer red is going to be this brighter red from Nicka K's Perfect 32 palette. Now, I don't follow the tutorials that I find online. I watch a lot of YouTube videos and I get a lot of tips from professional makeup artists, and then I immediately throw them out the window after experimenting for hours with them because they don't work for me. So I've had a lot of people ask who does my makeup. I've had a lot of people ask how I do my makeup. Here it is. So the first step is we're going to take that darker red and we're going to cover the inside portion of the eyelid. Now I have hooded eyes, and if you have hooded eyes like me, which is very common for people that were born masculine features, we're just going to go completely over that crease like that line doesn't exist. And we're going to bury it underneath eyeshadow so it looks like it's one giant piece and that the hood doesn't exist. And then we're going to go underneath the eye and do a little bit of the under portion of the eye, a little bit beyond where we would normally go with eyeliner. And then we're going to fade that with the lighter color. Here I go doing the other side. It doesn't need to be perfectly pretty right now. We're going to do a lot of blending later. Right now it's about packing the color in, getting a good coverage on that eye in the inner portion. Again, just going completely over that crease, avoiding that, or smothering that hood so that we can't see that I have hooded eyes. Which is not the way that I see professionals doing it all the time. But this is how I do it, and people seem to like it. So here we go. Alright, this is the brush that I'm using. As you can see here, it's... I'm trying to get it in the camera. It's a thin brush, rounded tip, no angle. I couldn't get my camera to focus on any of my brushes. I was having problems with that today. But yeah, thin brush, smaller, stiffer bristles. It's really good for packing in color. I don't know what any of my brushes are called. Okay, that's not true. I know what one of them is called, but that's the one that we're going to get to later. Now, for the outer color, I'm going to use a bigger brush because I want less density of color. So this brush is thicker, the bristles are longer, but it still has that rounded tip so we can pack the color in. Okay? That's the brush that we're going to be using to do the outer eyeshadow. I've also done all of my eyeshadow and an entire face with one brush. And if you don't believe me, I'm actually going to do a tutorial on how to do that at some point. But that's not today. That's kind of a I got bored and wanted to see if it could be done day. Alright, so again, we're going to pack that color in, kind of fill in the rest of the eye socket with that lighter red. Looks kind of pinkish here. Okay, to be fair, it looks kind of pinkish afterwards, but either way, we're going to fill in the rest of the eye socket. Notice how I don't go completely around the underside of the eye. I kind of want to draw out the upper portion of the eye and make it look a little bit bigger that way rather than bigger towards my nose. I want to take attention away from my nose because I have a schnoz. And that's okay. Everybody's got a schnoz, and for some reason, you're not supposed to have a schnoz. You're not supposed to have nostrils. You're not supposed to have air that you breathe. You're not supposed to have small cheekbones. You're definitely not supposed to have hair on your neck, but here we are. All right. All of that doesn't matter because what we're doing is having fun. All right, this brush is basically the same size as the last brush. It's I would say, one of my medium-sized brushes. But notice how it has that angled, kind of chiseled tip on it. That is what you want to use to blend. I don't know why those kinds of brushes work better for blending, but they do. I can't deny it. All right, so we're going to take that brush, and we're going to start, blending the darker red into the lighter red. And then we're going to take the lighter red and we're going to blend that out into the rest of the face. This is really good if you pack too much color in or you find yourself not happy with how dense it came out. You can just blend out into the outer portions of the eye out into the face and then just wipe it off, and it's like it never happened. I like to do my makeup in accident-proof ways because I have shaky hands and I'm prone to accidents, and that's okay. You know, Bob Ross said there are no mistakes, they're just happy accidents. I have a lot of happy accidents when I do my makeup. Yeah, I see you looking. Anyway, we're gonna blend the outer eye, blend the inner eyeshadow into the outer eyeshadow, and you'll see me wiping with my hand periodically. That's because I'm lightening up all of the color. Now notice I do blend under the eye all the way around because I do want to have, you know, sort of a consistent gradient going around. But what this gives us is that look like it's not like multiple different colors of eyeshadow, that it's one color that's just getting lighter along the way. See? Really intensifies the eyes. I feel like I might have gone a little bit too heavy towards the bridge of my nose today, but that's okay. That happens sometimes. All right, this brush is small, narrow brush with a rounded tip, short bristles. This is the one that I use for my black eyeshadow, which I use kind of like an eyeliner, because eyeliner doesn't work too well for me. I have a hard time with it, again, because my hands shake. So I've learned to compensate by using eyeshadow and using a brush. So we're just going to take that and we're going to go along the upper and lower edges of the eye, upper part of the eyelid, along the waterline on the bottom, and sort of cover half of the space below that creased portion, below the crease, on the eye, or on the upper eyelid, rather. Sometimes when you're using powdered eyeshadows, what you'll find is like little flakes of powder will fall off, and you need to dust those off. All right, so this brush right here, notice how it's very similar in size to the first brush that I used for my eyeshadow. This is a more intense blender. The larger blender won't work as well here because it can't move those darker colors as well. So this is the blender that I use to blend the black eyeshadow into the red to kind of give it that smoke into fire sort of feeling that I'm going for with this color today. Because I have two looks, and that's Punched in the Face and Summoned from Hell. And this is kind of the meeting point of those two. Punched by Satan. We're just going to do the other eye. You can see this one a lot better. I apologize for the angles, guys. I was in a hurry just trying to shoot this to get it done today because people have been asking for it, and I did say that I was going to do it today. Now you notice I don't do wingtips or cat eyes here with the eyeshadow. If I'm going for a more dramatic look, if I'm going out to like the club or a party or going to see one of my partners perform or going to work, I will put on more dramatic eyeshadow and I will do bigger wingtips, and I will do that with my eyeshadow rather than an eyeliner. Here we are blending again. When I do smaller wingtips, I use a different tool because I want a more delicate accent. I like to blend my colors because otherwise you end up with too stark of contrasts. All right, this is the Tattoo Liner Pen by Ruby Kisses. It's the closest thing to liquid eyeliner I will ever use because liquid eyeliner ends up all over the place on me and doesn't look good. Again, shaky hands. So what I'm going to do here is just draw really light wingtips. The key for me, and I don't know if you're going to need to do the same thing, but the key for me is I have to pull the skin taut a little bit at the cheek in order to prevent the pen or the pencil or the brush, whatever I'm using to do that wingtip that day, to prevent it from sticking and making just clumps of black rather than, you know, pretty little lines. You'll see it does it here a little bit, but we wipe it away. See right there? You can see where it clumped up a bit. And I'm just going to take my finger in a little bit and I'm going to wipe that off. And we're going to take that darker, that eyeliner, and we're going to go a little bit underneath the eye, a little bit along the waterline of the eyelid, kind of blending it and fading it into the eyeshadow we had on earlier, or we put on earlier. And now I'm also going to do a little bit of a line at the inside corner of the eyes. I don't know if that's still called wingtips or not, but I like to give a little bit of that just to balance out and further widen the way the eye looks. Obviously, I'm not as good at it as a lot of other girls are. I've only been doing this for about, I don't know, 9 months, and I've come a long way in that time. And that means you can too. But the big key, guys, that you need to remember is watching videos, seeing tutorials is great for getting ideas of how you want, of something that you might want to do, a look that you might be trying to go for. But in the end, what it comes down to is practice. This is my secret weapon. People ask me all the time how my eyebrows look so neat and orderly. I use a stencil. I bought it at Sally's. It was like $7 for a pack of 4 that's in different shapes. We're going to use that same brush that we used to do my black eyeliner or eyeshadow before. And that's the same eyeshadow that we're using. I'm not recommending this particular eyeshadow that I use simply because it's overpriced, doesn't work as well as some of the cheaper ones that I have. Okay, here is how you're supposed to measure the width of your eyebrows, or the length of your eyebrows. From the edge of the pencil to the edge of the pencil. That's how it works. Take your pencil, line it up with your nostril, place it at the edge, line it up then from there to the edge of your eye, outer corner of your eye, that's your outer edge. Placing your pencil along your nose, the inside edge is where your eyeshadow should come to an end, or where your eyebrow should come to an end. See there? Now notice this is too short, and that's because it was made for eyes that are smaller than mine. But we're going to fix that with a little bit of an addition with my smallest brush at the end here. Make sure you wipe it off between sides, otherwise you end up with whatever color eyeshadow you're using, smeared, or even eyeliner or anything else. Whatever you're using as a medium for your eyebrows, you're going to end up with it smeared on the other side of your face if you don't wipe it off. The thing that I've had to come to terms with over the years, guys, is that no matter how hard you try to line your eyebrows up, freehand, stencil, doesn't matter, they're never going to look exactly the same. And my partner is very fond of reminding me that eyebrows are sisters, not twins. They will never look perfectly the same, and that's okay. If they look perfectly the same, it actually looks a little off. It's kind of strange. We thrive on not quite perfect symmetry. All right, tiny brush. Tiny chisel tip brush, okay? This is actually called an eyeliner brush. That's the only one that I know the name for because I bought another one recently, and so I'm like, oh, hey, I know this thing. All right, so we're going to get more of that black eyeshadow on there, and we're just going to draw a little bit more of a tail on the end of those eyebrows. Anyway, like I was saying, guys, the most important part is experimentation. Just taking the time to practice. Learning what you like, seeing what you like to do, trying techniques that work for you, or trying to find techniques that work for you. Watching tutorials is a great place to start, but often I find that like when I try to engage with a tutorial and follow the skills and what they're doing there, I can't do it. I don't have the ability, or I don't have the knowledge set, or I don't have the right tools, and I end up having to do it my own way anyway. And in the end, it doesn't really matter. As long as you're happy with how you look, it doesn't matter if you're following a professional's guidelines or step-by-step directions of how it's supposed to work. It's all about making you feel happy with yourself. All right. This thing is the only thing that I invest money in constantly. Smashbox Always On Tar Pit. I get it. It's about 20 bucks at Ulta. It is the only black lipstick that I wear because it stays on better than everything else. Look at me adorably trying to get this to go into focus. It's just not working for me. Okay, so I'm going to do an ombre lip today. And what you're about to see is me forgetting that I was going to do an ombre lip and starting right out of the gate with my black. Normally I do the red first, but I forgot I was doing ombre today. Okay, so with the lower lip, or if you have full lips like I do, you don't need to overdraw very much. You can just follow the natural line of the lip. I do like to overdraw because I really like to accentuate my pout, which is that middle lower portion of your lower lip where it kind of overlaps. It's called your pout because it looks like you're making a pouty face. If you have really full lips, you don't really need to do that. You can just follow the natural line of the lip. The other thing to make it really stand out and look good is you don't want to draw a perfect same angle all the way across. No, don't make it look like it's part of a circle or part of an oval. Give it kind of a bit of an arch to it, almost like a bell, like an upside down bell. Narrower at the sides, thinner at the sides, and thicker towards the middle. That helps give you that look like you have more of the puckering kissy face kind of thing going on. I like that look. Other people have said that they like that look. And that's the kind of makeup that I do. If you're asking about my lipstick, this is how I do it. So right now I'm just drawing the outer edge, and we're going to get the inner edge with the red here in just a second when I realized that I meant to do ombre lips. Again, it's all trial and error and practice. It took me forever just to get my lipstick to look semi-decent and not look like clown lips. It took me forever to get things even. Alright, this is Palladio Forever Wear that I'm using for the red here, and I'm just going to draw that inner portion of the lip. I'm going to fill in a good, I would say the middle middle half to 2/3 of the lip I'm going to fill in with that red. You might think it's better to do like a smaller amount of red, give it more of an accent, but honestly, if you use a lesser amount, you're going to end up with it looking like it's not even there. And then on the top lip, what I try to do is I draw essentially the top of a heart. Right over the Cupid's bow portion, and you give it a nice big shape. That way when I put the black on, it will blend into the red and you'll have a more defined gradient, or a more subtle gradient rather than a stark contrast. Okay, see? Looking good. If you look right under my nose there, you can see that I got a little bit of the eyeshadow powder underneath my nostril there, and haven't noticed it yet. Like I said, it's important to wipe those off with a lighter brush. Also, after you finish your lighter color lipstick, make sure that you take some tissue paper or a Kleenex or a towel or something and blot your lips, because you don't want this red to get mixed in with your black. Alright, now with the upper lip, again, we're going to give it that gentle bell curve, that swept up look, but instead of a single mound like the pout, we're going to do one on each side and really accentuate that Cupid's bow. So there's your little makeup anatomy lesson. The top portion of your lips, where they form a kind of an M shape, a double arch, that's called your Cupid's bow, and the lower portion is called your pout. I don't know any of the other names for parts of the lips. Those are the only ones I've had to learn over my time doing makeup. And we're just going to go around the outer edge of that red. And I do like to overdraw my upper lip quite a bit, just because I like that big, bold, heart-shaped look. Then you're just going to purse your lips together and rub them back and forth just a little bit. You can also use a brush to accomplish this, to blend these together, but I just find it's easier to use the lips themselves to blend the colors. Just wiggle them around a little bit together. It's a lot easier if you don't have piercings in. So that's it, guys. I hope you found it useful. Have a great day. Mom loves you.